Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So till now we have discovered what are strings, how strings get memory allocation, how memory is allocated to string, what is SCP, and how SCP helps in memory usage or memory saving, correct? And also we have seen that why strings are immutable in Java. So now today's session we are going to learn the predefined method that we already get in strings. So one of them we have already completed is dot equals method. So the equals method compares two strings. So let's say s dot equals s2. So it will compare two strings with respect to their values. So let's say if this is having Arun, s2 is also having Arun, so it will give true based on their values, correct? So, and as we have discussed, the Java is case sensitive. So if I am having capital N over here, this will give false. So I hope till now it's clear to every one of you. So till now, if you have any doubts, you can ask me, and let's proceed with further stuff. So the other methods that we are going to discuss, let's say, all right. So the first method that we are going to see if you are having a string s, let me just delete all this. Yes, and if you are having a string s, as soon as if you are using any id, as soon as you use the dot operator, you will see n number of suggestions like this, correct? So the first one says that caret. Yes, so if I give any index over here, so now how this works, let me explain you this. So this will work in a way, I am asking that what is the character at the 0th index. So indexing starts from 0, as you all know. So 0 1 2 3. So if I say char at 3, what will be the output? The output will be 1 n over here. If I say char at 0, the output will be capital letter A. If I say char at 1, the output will be R, correct? So let's print this and let me show you the output for this. So the output for this comes out to be, right, okay, I'm not printing it, correct, sorry for that. So if I say system.out.println control V, and now the output for this will be capital letter A. Am I right? Because the char at 0th index is capital letter A. I hope till now it's clear to every one of you. Now if I change the char at to 3, so what will be the output? The output will be n, because the char at 3 is n. Am I right? Yes. So I hope it is clear to every one of you that how we get the n as the output, because the character at the this at the third position is n. So this is how we use the caret. Now, so what if I want to print the letters of this, print the character of this string one by one? Can I use a for loop? Correct. So let me write the code for this. So if I say for int I is equals to 0 and I less than, how many characters are there? 4 characters. I plus plus. We'll see is there any alternative rather than giving the hard coded value for the length of the string or not. Yes, and if I do it like this way, see it is giving n because I am printing character at 3. So if I say now caret I, so we get the, for the first iteration I is 0, so we are doing s dot caret 0, which comes out to be A. Then I gets incremented, then we are doing system.out.println caret 1, so we get the output as R, and then I changes to 2, we get the output as U, and then it changes to 3 and we get the output as N, and now the loop terminates. So now my question is there any alternative for instead of hard coding these values? The for, see, for arrays, what we did, if I'm having array like this, I used to use the arr dot length, the length operator, correct, over here. So is there any alternative for this as well? Do I have any length operator or length method for this? So let us say if I want to print my as dot, do I have any length? Yes, we have a length, but just keep one thing in mind, that over here in string we have parentheses. So there might be a question in the interviews that what is the difference between this and this. So do not get confused. This one is used for arrays, for getting the length of arrays, and this one is used for finding the length of a particular string. All right. Yes, so I hope it is clear to all of you. So this length method is defined inside the string class. So now let me run this problem. So can you see the output? The output comes out to be 4 because the length of Arun is 4. So now instead of this 4, can I say s dot length? Definitely yes, correct. So I'll write it like this way. Am I right? So now over here, if I say s dot length, and if I run this, can you see it still works the same way? I hope it is clear to all of you till now. So now let's practice few more examples. Right, so now what other methods do we get? So s dot, okay, so if I use the contains method, so what does contains method do? First of all, what does the contains method accepts? It accepts a character sequence in the parameters list. So if I have like this a, or if I have a b c, see, what do you mean by character sequence? A sequence of characters, and character can be anything like a, capital letter A, 0, z, at the rate, percentage, exclamation, any of this, correct? So what I am trying to do is there in the string, does it contain the string as, does it contain this character sequence? Does this contains this sequence? No. So we'll get output as false, because contains is a method whose return type is boolean. So let me take you to this. Can you see the contains, the return type for the contains method is boolean. So I hope it is clear that it will be returning the true or false values. So now if I print this, see, we get the output as false. So now instead of abc, if I do run, will it be true or false? It will be true, because Arun have run. So this character sequence is present in our actual string. If the attribute called length, and for arrays we have no, the method length is for strings. All right, so the string, see, okay, so the contains method gives us the true or false based on the whether the particular character sequence is present in the particular string or not. So now let us try some other examples as well. So over here, if I command this system.out.println s dot, all right, so now concat. So now if I say s dot concat Arun with x y z, so what will happen? Let me tell you the output. The output is Arun x y z, correct? So now if I try to print Arun after this, we have seen this before as well. See, the s is still Arun, it is not getting changed, because as I said, strings are immutable. If I want to change it, I need to reinitialize it like this. Now can you imagine if I can do this, and then my output will be this for s. So what does this concat returns? Can you just get an idea? Obviously, see, s can store string types, so this must return a string value, correct? So this makes a clear idea that concat returns a string. So the return type for the concat method, see, all of this concat equals length are nothing but a method predefined in our string class, correct? Our string class. So in a string class we have this kind of methods. So concat will return the string. So let me go inside the concat method. and can you see it returns a string. So that's the reason why we can store it inside a string. So it returns a string, which means yes, so it returns a string, which means it is not changing our s value, it is creating a new string. So at this moment of time, what will happen at this line, okay, at the line this line. So what happens at this moment? This is our heap, scp, Arun is there, but now as soon as this encounter this line, it will create a new string based on the concatenation of Arun with xyz, like this, and Arun is still there. So it is Arun, the previous Arun is not getting changed, a new object for this Arun is created, and we know that why this is done. So I hope it is clear to every one of you that how we can use the concat functions. Let me comment this out. Now let me, okay, see, not all of the method are that useful, but some of them are really useful and you will often see. So let me use the ends with. If I say ends with ing, so does Arun, see, with the name itself you can suggest many of the methods that what it is doing. So ends with will definitely give us true or false whether the s ends with this character sequence or not. So does Arun ends with ing? No, so we get false. If I say Arun dot ends with Arun dot ends with un, will it give true or false? It will give true because Arun ends with un. Am I right? So let me write the un over here, and can you see the output? The output is true. So I hope it's clear to all of you that how ends with can be useful. Yeah, so if you want to get the details about this ends with or any of such methods, you can use the control. You can click the control button on Windows and command button on Mac, and just click on this particular method. You will be directed to this string class. Can you see it over here? Yes, so this is a string class in which these are the predefined methods, and if you scroll you will see a lot of methods like this, index of, last index of, and many of such methods, and all of the methods are declared over here. Okay, so even the equals method is over here. Can you see the contains method? So there are tons of methods over here that we have predefined in string. So do not worry about this stuff because they are predefined. So Java provides us this kind of libraries. So now, does we have any start with function or not? Let us try this. So s dot start with, do we have? Yes, it is have, we do have, correct? If I say does it start with AR? Yes, it starts with AR. If I say does it start with AR, a small letter a, it gives us the output as false because it doesn't start with small letter AR. It starts with capital letter A. So I hope it's clear to all of you. You are asking that string is a class and what is a array? All right, so how did you declare the array? Like this, correct? Using a new keyword, we said that it is an object, but it is a non-primitive, so it is not predefined, correct? Arrays are not predefined. You are the one who is creating the arrays, and the array is of type int. Int do not have any classes, correct? They are primitive data type. They are primitives, and primitives are predefined, but arrays are not predefined except strings. So only the string class is predefined in Java, which is a non-primitive data type. All right, so this is a syntax, or I can say that string is a predefined data type, or the only non-primitive predefined data type. Okay, because it has its own syntax. I cannot change string with strings or str like this. I need to strictly follow the syntax for a string, but for arrays I can give any different syntax, like for int array a double array, correct? These are just the types. And for the classes as well, the classes are also non-primitive data type. I can give any name to it. I can give the name as stri, I can give the name as fun, I can give the name as foo. It's up to us. But for strings, it is a predefined class, so I cannot invoke any other class over here. I can give the different name to our variable. Yes, so I hope it is clear to everyone. Now if I say, okay, yes, so as dot equals we have already covered. Now ignore case, equals ignore case. Now you would have already guessed what it will be doing. Now if I do this, see, now what happens, our actual value is Arun and I am comparing with Arun. Now you know that you might have this scenario in your code that you don't want to bother about the case of a particular word. You just need to know that whether it is present in that particular sentence or that particular string or not. Then you can use the equals ignore case. It will ignore the cases. So it will just check whether it is a RR, UU, NN, all right, it is same. But if you don't use ignore case, which means it will be checking the cases for this, and then at that moment of time the equals will return false for these two values, but equal ignore case will return true for these values. So we are getting true over here. Now let me remove this ignore case and now let me run this. Can you see we get the output as false? So I hope it is clear to all of you. Yes. Now the different methods, as dot index of. All right, so now what I can do is, if I say, if I want to check at what index a u is present in my string, so where u is present at 0 1 2 3, so u is present at the second index and that is what the output we get. So if we want to check the index of a particular character in our string, then we can use the index of operator or index of method. Now what if it is like this, there are 3 u's, am I right? Or let me change the string. If I use the, all right, so let me apple. Now what happens if I say index of p? Can you guess the output? We have 2 p's, first at index 1, second at index 2. So we'll get the output as first because it will always return as the output or the index of the first occurrence of p. If I want the last occurrence, then I can use the last index of operators. We also have last index of, all right. Now if I run this, we'll get the output as 2 because the last index of will give the occurrence of the last occurrence of p. So I hope it's clear to all of you till now. Do you have any doubts till now? Let me check few other. Okay, yes. So yes, and if you are getting confusion, like let's say after few days after watching these videos, you are still having some confusion, you can just use your ID and it will just give you some suggestions. Returns true if the value is empty or contains only white spaces. So is blank is used for, it will return true if the string is empty or it contains only white spaces. And what is the difference between return false? Returns true if only the length of the string. So let me just clarify this for you. As is s empty over here? No, because it will return what is the length of s. Length is 5. Is it less than 0 or is it equals to 0? No, which means it is not empty. So now let me have spaces over here. We get false because it is not empty. It is having some characters inside it that are the white spaces. Alright, so if you are not getting convinced with this, then let me have the length operator. Can you see the length comes out to be 4? So which means spaces are calculated when I am having any string or when I want to check the length. So to check if there is, means you don't have to consider the white spaces, then you can use the blank. Now it will return true because now it is not considering the white spaces. If your string only have white spaces like this, it will not consider white spaces in the is blank, but in is empty it will consider. All right, I hope it's clear to all of you. It is not necessary to remember each one of them, but once you get confusion, you can just use your IDE and it will give you some short brief about that particular method. So last index of, again, we have used that, length we have used it, replace, okay, we are going to learn replace. So let me learn replace. Yes, so let us learn replace. Now what happens if I say replace P with U? Right, so let me change the string to back to apple. Okay, it will replace a particular character. See, can you see it replaces PP with U? Am I correct? Yes. So if you are not, again, not sure about this, if the character, see, what is the syntax, what is the method signature of this method? Replace method signature is, just a second, yes, so this method signature is string and the method name is replace, and it accepts two parameters. First is of type char and second is of type char. All right, and now you will be seeing it over here. So now the first character is the old character which you want to replace, and the next character is the new character by which you want to replace the old character with. All right, so it returns a string resulting from the replacing all the occurrence of the old character to the new character. If the string does not occur in the character sequence represented by the string object, then a reference to this string object is returned. Otherwise a string, yes, so we know that. See, there are some examples as well, so you can go through these examples. If you have any doubts, you can just go through all these examples, and definitely you are going to learn a lot from these examples and you will be getting a clear idea about these methods. All right, and again, even after referring to the brief instructions, then too, if you don't have a clear understanding, you can just comment your doubts in the comment section. Yes, so you want, see, if I don't have anything in my string, not even space or anything, then we'll get, see, if I have this, and now if I have system.out.println as dot is empty, can you see the output comes out to be true because it is empty. But if we have even a one single white space, which means it is not empty. So it is not empty, which means we'll get a false. But if I use blank over here, we'll get true. Even for here, we'll get as true. So I hope it's clear to all of you. All right. Yes, so these are again few important stuff that if you want to change your string to lowercase, so yes, so now yes, it returns a string, correct? I don't know why it is not printing. All right, so I'll change the string to s is equals to s dot. Oh, all right, all right. I have not initialized my string. That's the main issue. So if I'm having apple is a fruit, or let me write it like this. Now if I say s dot to lowercase, what happens over here is it lowercase, or it changes the case of each and every letter or each and every character to the lower alphabets. So it is returning even the capital letter a to small letter a and fruit as small, correct? And now the same way we have to uppercase as well. So if I use system.out.println s dot to uppercase, so we are having the string in the completely in the uppercase, correct? It just changes the case of each and every character to the uppercase. So I hope to lowercase and to uppercase is also clear to every one of you. And see, these are some basic functionality that you should be aware that yes, you can do it easily using the predefined class. So you don't have to do each and every step by your own. All right. Yes, split is the one that we are going to learn. And what is the use of trim? So returns a string whose value is the string with all the leading and trailing spaces removed. All right, so if I am having leading and trailing braces means spaces in my string, then trim, by using the trim I can remove that particular spaces. So yes, we'll be learning that. All right, so now let me have some trailing spaces over here. Let me print it, system.out.println s. Okay, let me trim it over here. Yes, so can you see, for the first time I just simply printed it, so we have a trailing space in the start and in the end as well. But for the next time if I do this, see, we don't have a trailing space and not even a leading space as well. So the trim method removes a trailing space. Now what if you want to just remove the leading space, correct? So we have leading space, strip leading space. Now let me just show this to you. See, we do have trailing spaces, correct? Now if I do strip trailing, yes, strip trailing, now what is the output? See, but over here I'm not having any trailing spaces because I have trimmed the trailing spaces. All right, so I hope it is clear to all of you that yes, this thing can be useful. See, for example, if you are having any forms and the user just fill unnecessary spaces in the beginning and spelling of their particular sentence or their first name last name, then it is not necessary. You can use this trim to remove either side, correct, to all the leading and trailing spaces from both the ends. So this method can be useful at many times. So now yes, this is clear. Yes, so now the last thing or the last method that we are going to discover is the split method, and also we'll see a two character array as well. Do not worry about that. So split method, So this might be confusing, but yes, this is kind of useful method that you can use in a number of ways. So let's say I am giving you a string 23 to 30. Okay, now you want to store this variable in one string hours. So you want this 23 to come over here, and you want this 30 to come over in string mains, correct? So how can you do this? One way is, like, you will say I'll use caret 0, and then I'll just add it with caret 1. So let me try this, and then let me help you to understand the output. So let me just declare a new string. Time is equals to 23 to 30. Yes, introducing the semicolons. Now you want to store 23 in hours, correct? So what you will do, you said that yes, I can use that as dot caret 0 plus as dot caret 1, correct? But now we get an error, and let's see what error do we get. Cannot convert from int to string. Okay, so now let's say you typecasted it. Is it working? No, it is still not working, correct? Cannot cast from int to string, because as I said that typecasting is only performed for numeric values. We have already discussed it. Do not forget these points. Now the question is why it is coming out to be int, because if, as I said, anything smaller than int, while you perform any operation like addition, it first get promoted to int, and we have discussed in operand promotion, correct? So now this 0 gets converted to int, means the 21st, and the character 2 and 3, sorry, the character 2 and 3 first get converted to int, and then we want to assign it to a string value, which is not possible directly. So now the other alternative is there any alternative to split it using this delimiter? I want to split it on the basis of this. There can be n number of numbers over here and n number of numbers over here. So I want to split it based on this. So if I use a splitting point, the delimiter, the colon as our delimiter, I have the first part as 23, second part as 30, which I can store first part in hours and second part in minutes. So let me use the split operator, and then I'll help you to understand this concept. So I'll use s dot split. All right, so now first thing we'll be doing is we'll be creating a string array. I'll explain you why. Splitted version time dot split, and you can give, see, there are regular expressions as well. You can give regular expressions over here as well, and you will be like, you can see a number of regular expressions on while you browse. Like if you use any browser, you can search for regular expressions for string. So you will see a number of regular expression, like for having only numbers or for having only capital letters. All right, so you can go through the regular expression, but over here we want to need to understand the concept of the split method. So now first let me just deep dive into this split method. It returns a string array, correct? So that's the reason why I am storing it inside my string array. Am I right? All right, but now how does this work? So this split method works on the basis of splitting the arrays into n number of parts, or string, sorry. So this is our string. I want to split it on behalf of this colon, because I have provided this colon as my delimiter. So this is my dividing point. And how many parts are getting divided? First part and the second part. So these are nothing but two strings, two independent strings. Two individual strings are over here, and it is getting stored inside this array. Now you will say that yes, I can say that splitted version and 0. So 0 is having 23 and 1 is having 30. So in our this minutes method, what we'll do, splitted version over here and just 1. So this is how I can do this, correct? So now if I say it like this, and system.out.println, sorry, just a second, over here I'll just declare a mains variable, and I am printing hours and minutes. Let me have some extra spaces. So can you see the output? The output comes out to be 23 and 30, because we are printing hours and minutes individually. All right, so let's say you have seconds as well and milliseconds as well. So will this expression work? Yes, it will definitely work. It is dividing the string based on the delimiter. So wherever this delimiter is there, it will divide it into several parts. So the first part is dividing it like this, then the next part will be dividing this, and the third part will be this and this. So how many parts altogether? 4 parts. So what will be the length of splitted version? 4, correct? So I can use this string for storing it on the basis of this. So it can be like this as well, correct? So over here I am not having any delimiter like colon or comma or semicolon, but we do have a space, correct? We do have spaces between them. So instead of column, I can just have space like this. So it is also a delimiter. All right, so yes, so let me just exclude this, and then yes, there is no delimiter over here. Let me use space, and can you see, again we get the correct output. So like this, let's say we have string like this, ABC colon DEF colon GHI space JKL comma LMN, and I am using, let's say the string name is S. So if I am using S dot split based on the delimiter colon, how many parts of this string will be there after this? If you can tell me the output, just pause the video, type the output in the comment section, and if you can give me the correct output, which means you have clearly understood the concept. So now let me explain how many parts will be there. I am splitting it based on the colon regular expression, correct? Colon is our splitting delimiter. If I want to split it, the first part will be ABC, second part will be DEF because I have a semicolon over here, third part will be GHI space JKL comma LMN, because there is no colon over here, not over here, not over here. So it will be a complete part, because I am splitting it just on the basis of this semicolons, correct? So the length of this array after splitting this will be 3 only. So do not think like it will be splitting it over here as well. No, it won't be splitting it like that. So I hope it is clear to every one of you that how split method is useful. Alright, now your question will be, alright, what if I don't want, so what if I don't want to provide any delimiter? I just want to have each and every character as a part or as a part of my array. My answer is definitely, that's fine, it will work fine. So let me declare a string first, and let me string alphabets. So let me say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. This is my string. I can say that alphabets dot split, and I am not including any delimiters. And let's say if I include any delimiters like comma, if there is no comma, there will be only one part of the string, because there is no comma over here. So if I say arr.length, what will be the output? It comes out to be 1, because the first part is the complete string itself. So do not think like if you don't have any delimiter will get an error or something like that. It won't get, it will be like the string won't get any partitions. So now can you guess the output? It is 25. The length is 25. Are we missing any alphabets? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. W. Yes. So now it comes out to be 26. Correct. But now if I try to print my array, system.out.println. Alright, you know how to print an array using a for each loop. So it is of kind string s arr system.out.println, or let me use just print. If you don't understand the syntax for our for each loop, please go back and refer to our loop section. So let me print this. See, our array is having this 26 alphabets. So yes, if you don't provide any regular expressions over here, then we have each and every part as separated part. Correct. And you are asking that can we use trim method to remove tailing or leading spaces? See, trim method is used for removing leading, not or, and trailing spaces. So it will remove both the spaces at once. But if you want to just remove the trailing space, you can use the strip leading. We have already discussed it. And if you want to remove the trailing spaces only, you can use the strip trailing. But mostly trim method is used because you don't want either of the spaces. Correct. Yes. So I hope it is clear to every one of you that how split method can be useful. All right. So now the last function that we are going to learn is as.toChar array. Let me just go inside this method. It returns a character array, which means I have to create an array to store this, and the array type should be of char. Am I right? And let me say that C. Correct. Yes. Now if I just try to print this array, can you guess the output? Alright, instead of S, I'll just have alphabets over here. Can you guess the output? The output is the same way that we did it in the split. So if you don't want to use this, then you can use the 2-char array. This will also return you the each and every character one by one, and it will be storing inside a char array. So I hope it is clear to every one of you that how strings are useful, and we have already predefined methods in string as well, which we can use for several kind of computations. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now in the live chat box. All right, so do you have any issues? See, now it's your task to practice a lot about these things. Now just imagine that this returns a character array, or let's say split returns a array, correct? So if I use only this 0th index of the string, what this will be returning? It will be returning a string, correct? The 0th index will be returning a single string. So you can store it inside a single string like this as well, but the only a particular index. So if you see this kind of syntax, don't get confused. But yes, this kind of stuff, just get means you will be getting acquainted with this kind of syntax just by practicing. So practice a lot about strings. String is really an important concept in Java. All right. So even length, you know that array dot length will be returning, or not array, sorry, string dot length. The length method in string will be returning int, so you can store it in a int type. So you can have int n is equals to s dot length. Yes, because this returns a int, and int can be stored inside n because n is of type int. So just get acquainted to this kind of syntaxes as well. And this split is really a powerful method that you can use in a lot of questions. See, your question is valid, that your question is in which scenarios we get 2-char array and which scenario we use split, correct? So split over here we did, it was not correct because our agenda was just printing the characters, and I just want to split it using no delimiter, which means I want to just get a single character. So I can use the 2-char array. This was a valid example, but at the time of this I want just two parts of my string. I don't want parts like this 2 3 colon 3 0. See, when I use split colon, did you guys just notice that this colon is not getting considered? We are breaking on the basis of it. So first part is 23, second part is 30. The colon is gone. When you have to delimiter, means when you have delimiter to separate your string, at that time you use the split. When you have a bigger string, so let's say apple is a fruit, the same example, you want the number of words in this sentence. How you can do this? For now you can count it 4, but now when you have a paragraph or a complete page, then what you will do? It is in the form of string. You will use a delimiter space, correct, and you will use the split. At the end it will be returning you parts based on this split. So the first part is apple, second part is third part is a, fourth part is fruit. So what is the length of s, or what is the length of the array written by the split? It will be 4. So you can say that there are altogether 4 words in this particular array. So I hope it is clear to all of you. Do you have any doubts? You can ask me. So do you have any doubts? Yes, and your question is like, we created a string array and it is a attribute length, from which the did we get the length attribute. See, the first thing, we have already discussed the difference between length and len in the string and arrays, correct? Now let me again clear this. This length is an attribute that we get for arrays, and it is predefined. It is not a method, because array is not a class. Array is not a class, correct? But string is a class, correct? String is a class. So for performing anything, we have predefined methods. So let's say length is also predefined in string class, but this length is an attribute. It is not a method in arrays, because array is not a class. All right, so over here, let me tell you that int arr is equals to 1 2 3 4, correct? And now if I say arr dot length, it will be giving us last elements index. See, this thing happens behind the scenes. This is the computation, that how it works. All right, so what is the length, what is the last index of this element? It is, all right, so let me make changes to it. What is the last index of the last index, or what is the index of the last element in this array? It is 0 1 2 and 3. So it will be always last index plus 1. So this will return last index plus 1, that is 4. So this is how this length works. But while in string s is equals to Arun, we have a predefined method len. All right, so let me just go and explore you with this length method. S dot length, sorry, yes. Now let me just go inside this method. So can you see, we have this predefined method over here. So it is present in a string class. So this predefined method is used for returning a length of a particular string, and this is a method because we use a parenthesis, and this is defined inside a string class. But over here, this is an attribute that is predefined. So like int, is int a class? No, it is a predefined attribute or predefined data type. So this is how length is a predefined keyword, we can say that, for arrays. So you cannot change it to len or leng or lengt, because it is predefined. If you want the correct output, you have to use this syntax. So you know that how memory is used, or how memory is determined for a particular index behind the scenes. So let's say this is at 0 1 2 3. Let's say I have created a length int array of size 3. So the first elements, let's say it is at 0, so the second element will be at 4, correct? And it will accumulate 4 5 6 and 7th bit. The next will be at 8 9 10 11 bits, correct? So it will give us the output as the, if I want the length, it will give us the last index 2 plus 1, that is 3. The length for this particular array is 3. All right, and you might get this question, like if I am having this, correct? So now your question will be, where this length is coming from. Now I am asking you question, to whom you are applying this length? You are applying this to array, you are not applying to this to a particular string. Then it is a predefined attribute. But if you do something like this, if you do something like this, let's say arrays 0th index, which means you are now doing any computation on Rohan. So now if you use length, then you have to use the length method, because you are using the length on Rohan, not on the complete array. So just keep this thing in mind. And another question of yours is, if you are having a b c d e f g h I and so on, so if you use, let's say this string name is s, so if you use s dot split delimiter like this, we have used this and we have seen the output as well. So is there any delimiter? I am asking you, like this colon, no, which means I don't want to partition. I don't want any partition in my array. My array will be as it is. My string will be as it is. So the same string A, B, C, D, E, F, G will be stored inside our string array, and the length of the array will be 1 because there is no partition. I hope it is clear to every one of you. So do you have any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can ask me, or while you practice, you encounter any doubts, you can just post your doubts in the comment section. So yes, that's all about today's session. We have discussed a lot of functions that we get predefined in string class. See, we have seen tons of methods like this, and you can also learn and explore more. All right, so I hope it's clear to every one of you, and if you have any doubts, you can just reach out to me. All right, so I'm stopping the stream for now, and if you have any doubts, you can just reach out to me. Thank you everyone for joining today's session. We'll catch up tomorrow.